Hello, and this is Kurokami, and I'm back for the final Junji Ito Anime Collection review, episode 12. It's been an overall great series, but I'm going to leave the full review of the overall series in the next video that will be out shortly, so stay tuned for that. But as always, spoiler warning is in effect. If you haven't watched the anime or read the manga, go do that first, come back. But with all that out of the way, let's pretty much just hop right into it. So, let's get creepy. Okay, so our first story of tonight, the manga chapter was called Splatter Film, and it was 32 pages. Overall, for this story, I can't believe I'm saying this, but it was more funny than anything else. Every time someone died, I couldn't help but to laugh, just kind of how ridiculous it was how they died. And I know that might be a little insulting, but I guess it's just how I kind of felt. It wasn't a bad episode, and upon doing the video and the review and such, I completely understand where Junji Ito was going with this. But as for the actual episode goes, there was minor changes in it, not anything worth really talking about, and very little was actually taken out as well. So it was pretty faithful to the actual manga. And though it was kind of funny at most times, I did actually enjoy watching this episode. It wasn't terrible. It wasn't the best, but it wasn't terrible. But I can commend the anime on what they did. They presented the actual episode a little different than how the manga presented it, which actually works out better. They kind of give you clues on the overall arcing theme right there at the beginning of the anime, which they don't in the manga. And by the time you finish the episode, you kind of chuckle for the fact that it's really ironic, the lesson that is taught within the story. But without getting into anything else, let's just hop straight into the story, so let's get started. Being inexperienced, one can easily get lost in a never-ending sea of trees, as this man finds out the hard way. Traveling through the harsh jungles of South America, young Olgi traverses the unknown wilderness in hopes of finding some sort of help. Luckily for him, however, he stumbles across a tribal village, a beacon of hope for the desperate man. They not only save him, but also treat him as an honored guest, even giving him souvenirs to take home. That's where this jar of special honey came from. Honey that could only come from a strange plant native to that area. The sticky substance was not only rare, but was also to die for. It was so delicious. Just the perfect taste of sweetness as it slides down the throat. There was just one thing though. Don't get caught, as the villagers told Olgi before handing him the sacred stuff. No matter what, do not let yourself get caught eating the honey. Not believing the rambles of superstitious morons, the two ignored the warning as Sugio tries the honey for himself. That is good. I've never had anything like it, the boy shouts after having his delightful taste. Hope he liked it because that was all he was getting. After all, this isn't something that you could just buy at the store. Later on, after gaining an appetite, Sugio buys a sandwich from his local Lawson, which normally has typical tasting food, but for whatever reason, this one tasted pretty shitty. All the poor boy could think about was the rare honey that he had tasted before. So much he even brought over a couple of friends to try the stuff as well. Oki seemed not to be home, but that wasn't going to stop these adolescents. After jumping through an unlocked window, the group made their way inside. Knowing how messed up it was, Sugio tried stopping his friends, only to be completely ignored. They were here to try the honey, and that's exactly what they were going to do. It was anatomous. This shit was good. Too bad there was a strange odor killing the mood. What could be here that smelled this bad? Sure wasn't the honey. That's when they saw it. Upon arrival to the other room, there was a huge red splatter across the entire wall. It was red and dark, but Was it blood? Then what's that film on the wall? Rip! The unknown substance peels off the wall and onto the floor. Was that thing Ogi? Screw this. We gotta get out of here, Amida proclaims to the group. They all quickly make their escape to the door, but something catches Sugio's eye. A map? Maybe it might come in handy later. Of course, however, the kids decide to take the jar of honey as they make their escape. Serves Ogi right for scaring them with that weird hanging. Time to split the booty. Thank goodness they made that trip, right? This shit puts everything else to shame. So good. Splat! Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. What the hell happened and where did Yamin go? No. That is Yasmin. The dude was reduced to a frickin' pancake. That settles it. That earlier thing was Ogi after all. But why? And why only those two? Okay. These guys need some serious time to chill. Waiting outside, the remaining members try their best to wrap their heads around what the hell is going on here. Two of their friends were dead, but at least they still had their honey, right? Splat! Just as Ryuki let the sacred goo touch her mouth, she was flattened right before her friend's very eyes. The clues finally connected themselves as Sugio realizes what is going on. You eat this honey, and this is what you get, the boy mutters. It is what the natives meant by when they said, don't get caught. But seriously, where did they go wrong? Why were they dead but we were left alive? Some weeks later, our remaining survivors were still kicking but were far from okay. Thanks to the stupid honey, now anything else they ate tasted like shit. Their appetites were shot. Only the honey could satisfy them now, but it was too risky to eat. Apparently not only their friends, but also a couple of others were found, as well as flattened corpses. The news were calling them the Pancake Murders. The others were Kamida's friends, so they must have gotten their hands on his stash. Oh, and speak of the devil, there he was. They were all starving but could not do a dang thing about it, or else... splat! Kamida even tried testing the effects of the honey. After all, they were begging for the stuff, right? Out of ideas and defeated, the three simply sat and pondered what the heck they could do to end their suffering. Okay, I can't take this, Yui tells the others. Delicious. Wait, she's not dead? Yeah, screw this. I can't wait another second, Sugio adds as he joins the party, chugging his share. And... splat! Sugio's guts were smeared all over the concrete. As if something snapped in her head, Yui breaks into laughter. She saw it. It was something big that came down and squished Sugio flat. You wanna know what? It can't squish you if you're in the water, right? The crazed girl blurts out. Yui dashes into the nearby river, indulging herself in the delicious honey. But then... whoosh! Something crashes into the water, creating a giant eruption of water. Yui was squished. That's when the map Sugio was carrying earlier caught Kamida's eye. It wasn't but a month later that the deranged man found himself somewhere in South America in search for more of the honey. He was going to be careful this time, but man were these mosquitoes annoying! Finally, Kamida feasts his eyes upon a giant alien-looking plant, one with multiple arms that swung around like whips. What was even stranger was the branches were disappearing and then reappearing. What the hell were they doing? Whatever, this tree definitely smelt like the honey so this had to be the right place. Yes! Honey time! Splat! Funny. When something tries to suck your blood, I mean sap, makes you really just want to crush them. Ain't I right? Okay, so covering our second story of the night. The manga chapter was called Rumors, and it was 40 pages. Now, what was actually quite interesting about the story was it was technically the prequel, or the chapter right before a certain chapter that we already covered earlier in this Junji Ito Anime Collection, which is quite interesting because it was out of order, but it's really interesting because when you finally make the connection, it's quite fulfilling and it's like, okay, that's what they did. So I did thoroughly enjoy that. And again, just like the other story, not much was cut, and they were pretty faithful to the manga as well. And as for how I felt about the actual episode, it was quite interesting. Again, not scary, but judging that we're dealing with Shuichi again in this chapter like we have in so many other chapters. And it is quite interesting that the first story of this anime collection started with Shuichi, and the last story ends with Shuichi. So, I will definitely say Shuichi was the highlight of this entire series. Not with the best stories, but he was most referenced than anything else in this collection. So, Rumors, good episode. Not the best, but good. So, without further ado, let's start this episode as well. Rumors. No one likes them in theory, but they are at the heart of teenage school life. They are in fact so influential as they can either make or break someone's entire social standing. Remember our old friend Shuichi? Of course you do. Well, we are blessed with yet again another pleasant story from our local school troublemaker. Let's just see how he ruins even more lives with his newest yet possible last scheme in tonight's story. We begin with our boy Shuichi rummaging through his sister's bedroom where he finds a fashion magazine. While flipping through its pages, one unworldly beauty catches his attention. We then skip to the next day, and school is about to begin. Sakiyama Midori is a 6-year student at Fukusawa Elementary, and the other beauty is Toniyama Madoka. Both girls are what you could call school celebrities, with both their beautiful looks and outstanding personalities. Midori herself loves Rumors, as they are what convinced everyone at school that she was in a relationship with the class pretty boy Usuka. Too bad he was recently sent to the hospital due to abdominal pain. Of course, all would understand that any rumor about Shuichi would be a bad one, judging how twisted the young boy is. After all, Shuichi's already known for his dark personality, overall creepiness, and for the fact that he chews on nails. There is no way someone of Midori's caliber could ever be swayed by any of Shuichi's childish pranks. It would go without show that Midori and her friends would do nothing but talk about rumors all day, but she would find it quite odd that one of her friends would bring up a rumor about Shuichi. And what's more is, it's not a bad one. In fact, apparently the boy had picked up a respectable part-time job. This had to be made up, right? It didn't change the fact that Shuichi now every 5 seconds would be bombarded with questions about the said rumors. Apparently they are, as the boy himself confirms, acting quite modest at the same time. These common rumors only escalated to the point now where no person in school didn't know something about the boy wonder. The latest, Shuichi is apparently related to the celebrity Kagawa Kentaro. The once hated kid is now surrounded by a horde of desperate girls begging Shuichi to get them an autograph. What a pain for Shuichi, right? So now everyone loves the boy, a complete 180 to just the other day. The next day, Midori decides to spend a visit to see the man she adores, Asuka, as the boy is still bedridden in the hospital, only for her to run into her quote rival, Madoka first. Asuka though is simply just happy that two stunning girls decided to pay him a visit. It seems like the rumors have even reached him all the way in the hospital. Now apparently Soichi saved a kid from being hit by a car and is even being awarded by the principal himself. The next morning, the school hero would share the stage with the principal as he would be commemorated in front of all of his classmates. Midori didn't care one bit though, as the only thing on her mind is that her rival might be in love with Asuka too. What was this though? Later that day while cleaning, Midori hears a familiar voice. It was Soichi, but what was he up to? Turns out the little rat was the one spreading rumors about himself. Whispering from the shadows to nearby classmates, he was able to spread around any rumor he wanted. This time, how Sakiyama Midori likes him. It came to no surprise to the girl as she was called out in the rumor not too long later. Well, now Soichi's gone too far. Time to expose the little pest. Midori spares no expense, as she not only denies the rumor, but also calls Soichi out on all of the others as well. The boy had one final chance to defend himself. After all, he did have the signed autograph from his cousin. Too bad it was an obvious fake, as Soichi has the worst handwriting ever. The poor boy was sent running. Now the school laughingstock. Then, a few days later, a creepy photo was posted on the chalkboard. It seemed to have been torn from a magazine. Apparently this creep of a woman was actually a supermodel, but how? Just looking at her gave anyone who saw it the chills. It wouldn't be long before strange rumors would spread all around. One such as a tall woman who would meet young children in alleyways and would ask them one simple question. Am I pretty? Too scared to answer, the children would always run away, as the monster of a woman would chase them down ready to devour them. As the rumors went, the tall woman was the same woman who was in the picture that was posted on the chalkboard. And what's more is that the woman in fact was a model, and due to recent problems, she is currently residing in a place called Virgin Pool. A place that if bathed in, a person can become beautiful. Luckily for the children, in response to the panic, the teachers assured them that it was only a rumor and nothing more. Just a recreated story that spread around in the past. After all, everyone's good friend Asuka was back now, so instead of worrying, everyone should be happy. The rumor, however, still slightly intrigues some, as this virgin pool can do wonders for anyone who wants to be beautiful. Seems like Midori has bigger things to worry about, though, as ever since Asuka had returned, Madoka has had her eyes glued to the pretty boy. What's more is apparently she had been visiting that pool to get the upper hand on Midori. Midori, however, was not going to lose to her rival. Asuka will be hers, even if she has to do the unthinkable. Stripping down to her swimsuit, Midori makes her way into the smelly, disgusting swamp. The smell and creepy atmosphere by this point would have scared off most, but this girl was desperate. She would win the game of love in the end, and this would guarantee it. She was prepared to do anything so she could become prettier. Then, out of nowhere, a familiar laughter came from behind her. It was Soichi, and he had a camera. Turns out this was yet another rumor he had cooked up as revenge for the girl who had embarrassed him in front of the entire school. All the poor girl could do was scream and cover herself as a barrage of pictures caught her in her most embarrassing act. Cutting both of them off, the sounds of hundreds of birds flying away broke the air as they seemed to have been spooked by something. Not but seconds later, a huge figure had surfaced from the bottom of the swamp. Was that a woman? Scared white, all Midori could do was scream as a giant made its entrance. Completely ignoring the girl the woman points her attention at Shuichi. "Who gave you permission to take my photograph?" the woman hissed. Who was it who had sent him? Whatever the reason, Shuichi was going to be punished for his disrespectful actions. What was to have happened to Shuichi? Well, Midori was not about to stick around to find out. Sure hope he's okay. So, there you have it. The final anime review of the Junji Ito collection. Again, I'll do an overall review of the entire series. But at least for this episode, just as usual, what did you think about the episode? Was it good? Bad? Leave it all down in the comment section below, as well as to like and subscribe for more content in the future. This is Kurokami, and I'm signing off.